Everybody, hope you're having a good day. It's Wednesday, so we're back. It's an investigation. So last time we were on Turbo, actually made it through the middle, now we're on the ladder. Let's just pick up where we were. So I think we're done with Gregory's section, so we're just Edgeworth now. So Identity of the Body is where we were last. April 2nd, 2:10 p.m. So they call found in the... that's pretty much how things went down. Those are the facts of the IS-7 as far as I'm concerned. I learned the truth about my father's Celeste case. So what happened at the trial? Well, we lost. Von Karma did a real number on us. Really? You couldn't prove that Mr. Tangoro was innocent? Oh, we could prove it, alright. Had a decent little pile of evidence in our favor. Problem was, we underestimated Farnkara. He fought him dirtier than we feared. I can imagine. Secure a conflict at all costs. A conviction at all costs. Those was always his guiding principles. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Anywho, the trial dragged on and on. Whole thing took about a year in the end. Never forget the day the verdict came down. December 20th that following year. It's April 9, so... Ooh, mama. We're talking over 17 years ago. And time sure does fly, huh? December 28th. I was there that day 17 years ago. Sitting in the courtroom gallery. Just before the trial got started, Greg noticed that Samson was looking even worse than usual. Turns out the poor guy had finally reached his limit. And so even said he wanted to be found guilty. Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him? Yeah, Von Karma got what he was pushing for from the very beginning. I mean, Gregory tried to drop the bombshell, but there being no bodies to speak of. He learned that Von Karma had used the power of the police to hit him off at the pass. He even had himself a fake autopsy report. That was the end of it. Von Karma even got Samson falsely testify against himself to being an accessory to the murder in court. Combined with the confession, the poor guy's goose was well and truly cooked. The Greg still having the insult in his hold on. The same is he has a bat to help him with. Oh. Alright. Second, he knew he had one last card to play if they squeezed the confession of Samson. So he had Bob record all of Samson's interrogations. I guess it's like the Bob really wanted to know the truth too, huh? We all did. But he was a trooper. Stayed with the kids even after Von Karma took him off it. He was tired of some other big kids too. Real bad. They don't make him like that anymore. Anyway, Gregory presented the recordings as proof that Samson's confession was coerced. And you know what? It almost worked. A cop named Ian Seidman got fired. Samson's interrogation and the initial detective, but before bad, he took the fall for pretty much the whole thing. But Von Karma didn't get away scot-free. In fact, he was disciplined by the chief prosecutor. For the one and only time in his 40-year career. So Sansa himself couldn't stomach another day in court. So when that guilty verdict came down, it didn't just signal the end of the day, but to the whole sad affair. I don't remember myself, my father's face when they declared Mr. Tangora guilty. I was a young child at the time, but if I could tell how much he was hurting inside. Greg wanted to appeal the ruling, of course. He would have done anything to clear Samson's name. But then, well, you know what happened next. Poor guy, he never got the chance. I should have left with him that day. I don't blame myself for not doing that. But I shoved that aside and said over something else instead. Or rather, someone else. I hated what you did. I hated you for choosing to stick with Von Karma. I hope you can forgive me. No, you had every right to hate me. I wanted to become a prosecutor as planned, and that's when Mr. Von Karma showed me this case file. According to these records, Mr. Tangora was convicted as the main culprit in Mr. Frost's murder. Nope, that's alright. Samson was convicted as an accessory to the murder. Strange. Files clearly state that he was the perpetrator. Plus, I'm fairly certain that all of Mr. Von Karma's cases were successfully solved. Mind if we take another peek at those? This file's been doctored. Part about the verdict, it's been changed. What? Here, feature papers on this. Some organizer of the competing contest, victim's body was found inside one of those creations, leading to his arrest. When his intention, Tangora discovered that he had a TS disorder, which was essentially cured via medication. Verdict convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. Convicted as an accomplice? That's a copy of the file they have on record in the court list. Then why is my copy so different? Well, he said it came from Karma, yeah? My guess is he didn't want Gregory's son thinking there was a murderer out there still large. Didn't want you looking into it again before the statute of limitations was up. So everything I believed about the case was a lie? Like I said, we all got to start somewhere. What's important is you know what's what now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but the truth's still out there, you know. I heard of Samson's case when your man passed. Prosecution handed it off to somebody else too. The fake great grandpa wasn't going to bother to fire facing against a rookie like me, isn't he? Was he? Anyway, long story short, the clip was never found, and Samson was found guilty instead. It's terrible! Is there nothing we can do to help him? Not without the real perp, I'm afraid. Until then, his confession stands. Speaking of, sorry. I didn't find it until after the verdict came out anything, but Von Karma hadn't found Samson mean of a deal. When he didn't confess, he made sure Judy was convicted instead. How could he? Samson knew there was no way Judy could have done it, of course. He wasn't going to take any chances, so he did what he could, like what he was told to, and confessed to keep her safe. Nah, remember this, Matty boy. Why do you think your Honor A just happened to be in the prison the day Bronco died? Oh, that's right. You were there to see Mr. Tangora. Sure. Bingo. Judy and I promised we both visit him every day. I didn't quite keep that promise. But Judy did. He never missed one visit in all these years. From shine, rain or shine, she always shows up. But none of that changes the fact that Samson is still being unduly punished day after day. How heartbreaking! We gotta do something, Mr. Fender. Okay. That's see why we came here. The ice sculptures are back on display, just like they were all those years ago. And we're going to see what we can find out. Right, Mazarino? I'm Professor Fender. I don't look at these things in the same way as you or my father did. Owls. That doesn't run right now. Speaking as not as a professor, but as Miles Edgeworth. I want to know the truth behind both of these cases. I'm not leaving until I do. Here we are, Grayson. Through and through. Alright then. Now that's started, we can really get to work. Good thing I brought the ISM KISS files on M's with me today, huh? Here, documents purchased. Who doesn't love paperwork, am I right? The parts in red ink are my ammunition. Let's say. Oh, it's not there, right? Okay. Thank you, Fender. And here's something for you. Enjoy. There's quite a few, so I'll take a minute and just scoop them out if I were you. Small amount of evidence in the ISM files received from Fender. Yes, I see. I'll take a look with them in a bit. We should do it now. Ah. Okay. You know, our current case is just full of loose threads, too. Come to think of it. Indeed. The key players of that incident 18 years ago, who just happened to get caught up in another incident. Ice sculptures in the winter ring are that are perfect replicas of the ones from 18 years ago. Poison gas attacking the Autumn Wing, which has been disguised to look like the Winter Wing. Two chemicals that were found inside the pieces statue's display case. Ericarium and Asphyxion. For a poisonous gas when mixed together. The victim of the gas attack, Camilo Gusto, was no stranger to the events of 18 years ago, and who was still unconscious and undergoing treatment in the medical room. And finally we come to a body floating face down in the fountain. And the fact that the ice sculpture has melted just as it did all those years ago. I was picking something up. Hold on. Maybe. Oh no. The events of the present day would appear to be intimately linked with the events of the past. Which means they may be able to help us learn about what happened 18 years ago. That's good to me. Let's get investigating.
Objection!
Oh, no, you don't. Aren't you forgetting somebody? I could have sworn this was my investigation. This is quite right. I do hope you aren't intending to instruct him in his duties, Mr. Edgeworth. I would have to add a guilty to my report to the committee. What am I guilty of now? Of course not. I am simply offering once again to do what I can to help with this investigation. The offer is duly noted and duty declined. Oof. He isn't pulling any punches. The identity of the body from the fountain is currently being ascertained. It is only a matter of time until we have all of the information we need. Perhaps I can help you speed that process along. I think I have an idea of who our mystery victim might be. Oh, no. What? Really? Then you have to tell me. It's the law. Very well. Maybe it isn't just the ice sculptures that have researched for us after 18 years. The body in the fountain may also be a visitor from the past.
Take that!
I believe the body in the fountain is that of the man who was murdered here 18 years ago. Mr. Artie Frost. What? You mean that was poor Chili Wings? Wait. Who the heck is Chili Wings or Artie or whoever it is you're talking about? Artie Frost was a famous sculptor, Eustace. Although he was better known as Paul Helican. The sculptures on display here are all his work. No way. Sounds like he did well for himself. Always good to encounter a fellow winner. Mr. Frost was also the victim of the IS-7 incident. Judge Gabriel knows about the IS-7 incident? Mr. Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident is an 18-year-old kiss. And according to the police record, the victim's body was recovered and an autopsy duty carried out. Sure, that's what the record says, but the record can't always be trusted. What are you insinuating? That while the record says stuff like body fully recovered, the defense back then begged to differ. Not that it stopped the prosecution from shooting them down hard, of course. Yes, this is Winner. Huh? What? Really? What is it, Eustace? The body! We got an ID! Some sculpture called Frost or something? I guess Edgeworth called it? Yeah, no, it's a justice! My father's deductions were right all along. Well, Judge Gabriel, I say this changes things, wouldn't you? Perhaps now you admit that I might be of use to this case. More than a certain junior prosecutor, anyway. No fair! You're trying to steal the win! I'm doing no such thing! All I want is to uncover the truth. And if we're going to get to the bottom of what happened, here, we need to work together. We do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern.
Objection!
Well, now, Judge, I think you might be wrong about that. Another one of your interruptions, Mr. Fender? Yep, see, I was on the defense team for the IS-7, so this case is very much my concern. I was one of the pesky kids pushing the theory that the body had actually gone missing. The prosecution at the time may have brushed it off, but you can't deny the testimony of your eyes. Or to put it a little more bluntly, the prosecution's case was rotten from the ground up. When there's been a miscarriage of justice caused by the prosecution, it's the committee's job to fix it, no? And who better to help you unpick the mess that someone who was there at the time? Unless you have an ulterior motive. Mr. Carriel seems to know the facts of the IS-7 case in some detail. In this case, I suspect she must be here on the committee's behalf. In connection to the case of Snowden, Mr. Fender, I feel to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth. Hold it. He's the son of the original defense attorney. And the chief of this case's lead prosecutor. And that's not enough for you. He was at the trial too. I think it's just possible he might have a little something to bring to the table, don't you? There. Very well. You may both assist in the investigation. And only if you refrain from interfering with the work of others. The Wither Wing is off limits for now. This room, however, is all yours. Alright, glad to hear we're on the same wavelength, G. Let me bring it in. Show we're all on the same side of justice. Do not test me, Mr. Fender. Your permission to investigate can be revoked at any time. Duly noted, Your Honor. This is a turn up for the Wicks, huh, Mousy? You get to do your thing after all. Thanks to your immeasurable help as always. No sweat. Besides, Asmo's using it for me. Okay, I'll be investigating my own thing, so just holla if you find something interesting. I will. Okay, shall we? Heck yeah, let's get let the investigation commence. So unclear on two key factors. How much of Frost's supply came to be where we found it, and the source of the program. Right, we need some more intel. Indeed. Let's focus on the aquarium first and foremost. It's used in stuff like dish soap and paint, right? Correct. It's also bright red in color and has a distinct minty fragrance. Okay. Sounds like we know what we're looking for. There we go. What logic do we have here? Just stop. It's a sculpture of a brave warrior bowing a serpent. Apollo can make this one too, Mr. Edgeworth? He did. It seems he was fascinated by fantasy and mythology when he was a young man. This piece embodies the tragic and yet gritty determination of the young as they face with impossible situations. It's called the math test. Oh, we're real. Statue of a man and woman in the old-timey clothes. The Apollo? The makes make these as well? Yes, it seems he created them later in his life, once he had begun to make a name for himself. His wife pushed in the sculpture the two of them as ancient gods. He couldn't say no to his beloved. Now is beautiful goddess Venus and her humble servant. Wow, talk about putting your goddess on a literal pedestal. The spring in front of the door is the fir tree, right? Yes. It's usually associated with winter. This door leads to the autumn wing. I suppose it's all part of someone's elaborate ruse. I could paint the red for that autumn feel. Evergreens stay green all year round, okay? Hence the name. Sure, I know. Don't think you've gotten away with anything, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be reporting your actions to the committee. Do whatever you need to, Judge Raphael. And we'll do the same. You are the self-styled great thief, correct? Mr. Edgeworth, associates with such a character will be of interest to the committee too, of course. Go ahead and report me to your secret committee. I'll be the toast of the thief community. Looks like Judge Grayo will have to think up some new threat if she wants you to communicate. You mind, Mr. Winter? You're in my way. I do mind, actually, and I'm not going anywhere. You'll just have to go around me. Well, we just thought you might want to move to a better spot after all. That's all. What better spot? I don't mind you shoot me at once. That really all it takes to make you do whatever we want? It's a selection of trophies won by Paul Helligan, or rather, Hardy Frost. Evidently, he was a well-respected artist. Oh, you got one too, Mr. Edgeworth. So it's about time I won one too. Sorry, so it's about time I won one too, I guess. Sorry, guess I'll have to find some thieving contest at the end there. Or you can set something up! Something with a nice ceremony at the end. Or not. Yes, followed by a swift round of arrests. It seems the elevator is only accessible to select individuals. I wonder what's upstairs. Among other things, the medical room. That's where Mr. Kosu's being treated. I hope he's alright. I've got some questions that need answering as soon as he wakes up. Since there's no way of knowing when that might be, we should explore other venues in the meantime. Mr. Winter, it's very clear that you're only allowed to investigate this room. So I'm afraid I can't let you pass. Sorry, sir. It wouldn't make much difference if you did, officer. You're standing in front of a wall. Oh, but we all know a few bricks won't stop you, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Wow, he actually sounds kind of scared of you. So what kind of reputation do I have down at the Pinnacle? Why is there a lift cart just standing here out in the open? I guess somebody must have been moving something heavy. How about the platform seems to be wet? No, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this thing somewhere before. You mean like 18 years ago? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. And I saw in Frost's room. You must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. Yeah, one of these, you can move that giant lump of ice around no sweat. Oh, just think of the possibilities. I could really use one of those. Still doesn't explain what's it doing here, though. Bit of a head scratcher. We should give it a think, yeah? Indeed. After all, it just might have something to do with our case. Put some flowers by the door. Nice! Fitting oven for the entrance to the summer wing, I suppose. Summer? It's also vacation time. And every great faith knows that means tourists with bulging wallet. Pickpocketing, Kay. Isn't that a little beneath a great thief? Yeah, maybe you're right. Those are turtles by the door, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, it leads to the spring wing. Ah, spring. A part of the time to move house. Which makes it open season for great thieves. Housebreaking is a little beneath a great thief, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I guess you're right. Miss Brown's tea set is lettered neatly on the serving cart. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. Understandably so. These cups we were giving. Sorry, the cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all this stuff was assigned by Mr. Frost. Interesting. In that case, I think we better take a closer look. Caddy containing Ceylon tea leaves. It's a well-crafted tin canister designed to prevent moisture and sunlight from damaging contents. Not a bad thing to use considering the quality of the blend Miss Bound serves. This dishware was made by Artie Frost. It looks very fancy. Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that This set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. Let's try not to touch any of it until unless we absolutely have to. Wow! This stuff's really worth that much? That's okay. I can see your eyes lighting up. This Palm must really be a fan of Mr. Frost, like Mr. Friend. You're said to have these. Really kind of, eh? That's one swanky teapot. That's one way of putting it. I lean towards eccentric myself. Is there anything more towards eccentric? Whatever it is, it won't do a great faith to remain so ignorant about such a click thing. Actually, your ignorance is my bliss. There we go. These letters say PH, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, they show that this teapot was made by Paul Helliker. They were initials, obviously. Right, but I thought his real name was Artie Frost. Was, thereby making this piece by the victim of the IS-7 incident as well. And his work seems to be everywhere here in the Zodiac Hall. Hey, Angie! What is it? You be careful with that teapot, you hear? Why is Lion so concerned all of a sudden? Honored guest. I can pour you a cup if you like. Miss Bong. Oh, Judy. I'm good, thanks. No tea for me? You two knock yourself out. Thank you for the offer. Yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. The cup's coming right up. Smells great. Wow, it tastes even better than it smells. Also, what type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Celeon, I believe. Celeon, I believe. It's usually identified by its citrus aroma, but... Miss Bong, is this the same blend you served this morning? Why, yes, is it alright? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh no, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times. I can't see what could account for the difference. Hey, what's the big idea? Quit being mean about his tea, will you? What's gotten on your skin, Larry? Nothing! That's rude, that's all. You don't even try to call me by the right name. It's Lawrence Deluxem, right? Dang it. Sorry. You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. Well, that was childish, even for him. Wow. What happened there? Let's ask him about it later, shall we? Looking Miss Bond is more of a priority right now. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's the culprit. But it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. This tablecloth's drip when it's drop over the cart is pure white and completely spotless. And it's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, turn around and whoosh! Hey, that's just enough how bad of an idea that would be. Aw, come on, what's the worst that can happen? Even if it does go all sideways, we just wind up with a tea-colored tie-dye. A cool tea-colored tie-dye. Sorry, okay, sorry. Yes, well, I'd rather remain in white. Plus, I don't think Miss Baum would appreciate us meddling with it. Really? But there's so many other colors that would totally work. Pink, sky blue, tea leaf brown, sorry. I kind of want to try it. If not, we'll restart and go from there. Investigation of the Phantom Part 2. Alright. Want to test it first. Right. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Pal? I just know something. I had to go and tell our visitors we're closed. Oh, and I had a little something in an apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about? Yes, a few things actually. Not least of all, the fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. From the color and the aroma, I say this is a puddle of spilt tea. And look, there's a small chunk of Darmanic. My fragments. I guess somebody must have broke something. I know that insignia. And a certain high-strung somebody just might know me too. Now, what's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what's happening is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. Guess I better stop my game too. Yeah. The case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And hi, it's got a lot. Melting statues in the Winter Wing, and even the mirror victim's body. But how did nobody ever figure out that the body had gone missing? Ross had no family apart from his son. And well, the kid can't vanish. Nobody seen him since around the time of the incident. Got his son too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. What? And they were never found? Guess this boy wasn't. Not as far as I heard, anyhow. Guess Frost's kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no fire around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So needed for the police to release the body. No need for anybody to find out they didn't have it. They filed their fake autopsy report, and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. So a company Mr. Von Karma would stoop so low. Hello, dearie. Still investigating, aren't you? Still investigating anyway, find anything interesting? No, dearie. Not very much anyway. Silly girl. That wasn't a dearie moment. That was more of a lumpkin. Sweetheart is for when you're being sympathetic, of course. And treasure is when you're in it, so we're in the tits. Love is for people you're not keen on. And paddle you use when you're trying to get someone's attention. Wow, I didn't realize there were so many rules. Besides repel. Well, I hope you're getting so time. Don't even try, Kay. Oh, dearie me. The original ice sculpture melted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, you know about what happened back then? In that case, you might also know I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set replicas based on those photographs for this certain exhibit. Why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his great unfinished masterwork. I want to see it completed at last. Or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place after all. I see. And is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wing look so similar? Oh my! You think they look alike? Perhaps I used some of the decorations from one in the other by accident. He's clearly lying. Don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something. So just tell me what it is. Whoa! Quit it with the glare thing, you. It's weird. Oh, come on, Kay. You know better than that. I wasn't sorry. I was struck by an idea for a picture. Naiji, he was glaring. Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit it! I told you, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you ever again. Sorry, die. This is getting me nowhere. I suppose I'll have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why don't you show me that? Tell me, what is it about Miss Bound's tea set that got you so agitated? Yeah. If you won't tell me, then perhaps you prefer to explain it to Judge Graviel. Wait, don't make me! You look bad in front of Verity. She thinks I'm a sensible, cool, clean-cut guy. I'm a sensible, cool guy. Sorry. I don't want her to see the real me. The real low-down, dirty me. I'm not sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clear and cut, Larry. If you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk to me. Alright, I'll talk. Alright, Larry, enough is enough. Now confess. Yeah. Is this any way to treat your best friend, Angie? Is this any way for you to treat... Sorry, is this any way for you to treat yours? By lying to him? Hiding things? I get the picture, right? Stop, sir. Let me mean like that. I'll tell you everything, okay? Alright, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her. I got distracted and my hand slipped on smash! I broke the teapot! The priceless work of art! A priceless worker! It's a piece because of me! No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from. Ouch! You messed up this time, Lawrence. Yeah, gee, everyone's going to think less of me now. Judy's never gonna forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do any good. You need to apologize, Miss Bound. My teapot? I see. I'm sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint your portrait. I'll paint you 50 portraits. Please, Mr. Luxton. It's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramic on the floor? Yeah. Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that's safely disposed of. The teapot in question was designed by Artie Foss, correct? I understand it was something you've long treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. Well, of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world. Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be? I can't believe it, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kind... Ah! This other teapot you're talking about. It's the one sitting on top of the cart right now, right? What do you mean? Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces in the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw that other pot under there. So I took it and basically switched the two pots. Oh, I see. Yep, that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one. I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? I'm sorry. It's really quite alright. Thank you for being so honest. So yeah, isn't Judy the absolute best? Just you won't take advantage of her kindness and we'll make amends somehow. Sure will! Once I make it as an artist, I'm going to give her one of my paintings. She blows my mouth after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect it's likely to make more trouble than amends. Don't you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while? Oh, I will be keeping out of her way! Because I sketched her and the others already. Her and the others? Can you see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of some ravishing beauties. Wanna see? Interested in Lawrence's ravishing beauties, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid you're greatly misjudged, Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time, too. Unusual details? Nothing unusual about these. These are my best work yet. Really? I want to see them too. Aw, you're a sweetheart, Kay. Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? As suppose we might as well take a look. So, these sketches of yours. There's the idea if you want. Look at my art. You should have just said so from the get-go. Here, fix your eyes on this. What am I looking at here? I told you right, Robinson Beauties. Just a few of the far faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know? That's Faraday and Judy and someone else. Somebody else. Why did you draw them all on the same page? Well, I meant to draw the room at first. Just something to pass the time. Then I saw one beauty after another and well, I just scribbled them down as I went. So these were all drawn at different times? Huh, yeah, I guess. I did one for you too. Sorry, I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page though. Oh, you did? I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you actually saw? Of course! Look, I draw things I can't see. Like using my imagination. Nope, these are 100% true to life. Right down to the exact shade of color. Colors are accurate. Interesting. Much as it pains me to admit, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. A certain card in the sketch, for example, I compare it to the one here in the room. There's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order. Put up on this page for a while, Larry. Sure thing! Want me to sign it for you? Just the page, please. Two things I want to check. Let's try this. Aha! I suspect the difference in aroma we notice is due to the teapots having been switched. You do? I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hasn't changed. Why do we also spout, just to be sure? Spawn, the difference in aroma we notice, do you think it could have been because of the different teapots? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty scent. Rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma was coming from. Would that really be it? The tea from the teapot Larry switched in from under the cart smells faintly of mint. Right, Miss Brown said she used that teapot to make peppermint tea yesterday. Yes, there's something else that could be that's been troubling me. Miss Brown seems more taken aback by the switching of the teapots rather than the breaking of one. You're right. You expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. Why? One of the ubiquitous key characteristics is the minty fragrance. What if she had been hiding some in that teapot? What? In the teapot? It's simply a possibility, but one we're investigating, I believe. So, winner, any luck finding that aquarium? Huh? Oh! My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. What about you? Don't tell me you know where it came from. I may have an idea. Ha! I knew it! If I can't find it, there's no chance. That's all useless. What? You do know where it came from? Yes. But where? Miss Bound's teapot. Wow, nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a natural born winner. It's not a prize, it's a final piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence? Then I'll have one of the forensic people check it out. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly. The minty fragrance we notice coming from it. I think it just might be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But Mr. Edgeworth, surely you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. No one would have had the time or the opportunity to start that up except you. That's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during that time. The Ancia, for one. So you see, I'm not the only person who could have set it up at all. Miss Scone is on her radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. Besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. But even if you did find some mercury in my teapot, I wouldn't have had any idea what to do with it. I suppose we should see what the test results say first. Miss Bell claims she doesn't know the first thing about making poison gas. We need to find a way to prove that she's lying. Right, so I think we have to touch the hand, reduce the handle. No! It's the actual table itself!
Eureka!
Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Huh? Fascinated about how it works with the Great Lawrence Deluxium, huh? It's the composition, right? Not exactly. This light blue tablecloth. You painted it exactly. I was thinking something else. But okay. This light blue tablecloth. You painted that exactly as you saw, correct? I already told you. Everything is exactly as I saw it. The tablecloth on the cart here in this room is white. Wow. Your head's so full of crazy theories, the simple stuff just passes you right by, huh? Oh, what's that look for? Listen, just because I drew that sketch, I was in the middle of some business with the cart. Or with the tea saddle, okay? What kind of band is this? That's right. It was hiding the This is of tablecloth I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. I was still in the middle of cleaning it all up when Judy came out of the winter wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pot, so I quickly dove out of sight. Wait, Miss Bell came out of the winter wing? Yeah, she was pushing the cart, a different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on the diary. And when did she? And what did she do with the second serving cart? The second serving cart. Well, I saw her wheel into the summer wing. I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts, the kinds you can lift stuff with. Lift cart? Yeah, so I called her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had done this as a shy type, but it goes to show you never know. Another serving cart. And the lift cart? Is there maybe another tea set too? You better check with Miss Bell. Are there two serving carts here in the gallery, Miss Bell? Oh, yes. Why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed us a sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Light blue? I'm afraid your man must be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered from starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free ones in the cart here in the fighting room, right? Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would replace it right away. The color of the tablecloth in the sketch simply be a mistake on Larry's part? You have any idea what you might have been doing with the sketch when the sketch was drawn? Let me see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties. I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. What exactly were you doing with this sketch when the sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your cart doesn't have a tea set on. And I was delivering some chocolate to the investigating officer. Now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there were a few left over, so here for both of you. For you both, sorry. I made them myself. I hope you like them. Thanks, Miss Spoon. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. They're super sweet. I love them. I'm very glad to hear. They may not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. We have any more we are out of logic. The body's been taken back to the lab, sir. Autopsy on their way. How's the rest of the fountain looking? Rather beautiful, actually, sir. The water's crystal clear and kind of smoothing. Almost as if there wasn't a body floating in it not so long ago. The door here is marked with a nice autumny-looking tree. Yet at least the winter wing. I suppose it's all part of the deception. I can steal easy, like make things a little more wintry. I think you better leave him alone, okay? Then he's talking to Larry. They got something in me. It's a man with a moon-shaped head and a woman with a sun-star-shaped head. The man's got a real pin look in his eyes, though. Is this another one of Paul Howling's pieces? Yes, from his younger years. And he was something of a dreamer. He depicted those closest to him by means of a motif taken from nature. The piece is titled My Parents. Yes, the moon. Because the mom's shone brighter than in that house. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, I think I get it. So this is how keep you unraveling this whole mystery? Yes, perhaps. Great! You keep all of it then, yeah? Now, back into your pocket it goes. Yes, he doesn't have easy punch. Oh, Judy's special homemade chocolate delights! The sweetest treat a guy could hope to eat. Hey, you know what goes well with one of these? Mazo? A nice strong coffee, that's one. That's so. I have to give it a try. Did I tell you that these are Samson's favorite? I hope they still bring him some sweet comforts after everything he's been through. Alright. The Ultimate Cookbook. I bet there's some nigging recipes in there, huh? Hey, you might be interested in perhaps? Me? Not that I can think of. What about you, K-Serino? I guess I like to be a genius. I'm invisible? Ooh, I'm able to fly. We're talking about medicines, okay? Not miracles. Ah, this takes me back. Perhaps you could take a closer look. You might know something new. Yes, Mazzarino. I've been racking my brain about this case for 18 years now. I wouldn't have much hope for a Eureka moment. You on the other hand, fresh eyes, fresh face, fresh attitude, might spot something. I'm gonna take a stab at what he's close to saying, but no comment. Alright, I'll try not to pass the buck next time. Well, that was a waste of time. Now it's a prosecutor. I gotta admit, never saw that come. I'm sorry, Fender. Forget this. Hey, that wasn't a dig. You had your reasons, I'm sure. I'm just glad you get to see what the courtroom is like from the other side for once. It's a whole different ballgame, let me tell you. Actually, I have stood at the defense bench once before, and I have to say, it wasn't bad. Right, we haven't investigated this yet. It seems the police have already removed the body. Why did the body of the victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it all round and stuff? Did this slowly shuffle its way here? You didn't remind you that zombies aren't real? It seems like the body was preserved somehow. Really? It's not even possible? Hey, Mr. Forensic Guy, anything to report? Yes, ma'am! Traces of both Aquarium and Expedition have been detected in the fountain. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say they were probably carried here by the stream from the Autumn Wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analyzed as we speak. There's sugar in the fountain? Where would it even have come from? Edgeworth speaking. Towards me! Is everything alright, Detective? Everyone's left the white ring. It's just me in here now. I can tell you what we found out. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation. But after the past week or so, I'm not about to stop him now. Here have all completely melted. All that's left is the display case. In the display case is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case than the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff for me if you can. Yes, sir! It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it. The one in the Gemini case had 3 different substances in it, which were sugar, salt, and blood. Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini case sample? I can imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. Oh, and I also spoke over the radio with the forensic guys working in the fountain room. He said he just got word that the sugar they found matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. That might well prove to be significant development. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir. We found one of those light emanating devices here in the Winter Wing 2. There were a few of those being used in the Autumn wing to the skies as the Wither Wing, as I recall. It seems the equipment from 18 years ago is more than just for show. I need to talk to Mrs. Scone about this. Hey, I better get back to it. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lava with that blood. Yes, thank you, Detective. Is that coming? He seemed like he had a lot to say. He did, and all of it very useful. I'm going to prove that Miss Bounds' claims about who could have set up the poison gas trap are false. I need to talk to a certain someone who was here 18 years ago. Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions if I may. Of course, dear. Fire away. Anything for you, Anything for you, Mancy Smancy and dear sweet little tooth decay. I appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Mousy Smalsy. I'm not a fan of tooth decay either. Well, you just have to like it or lump it. I can't change the nickname once I'm settled on. Ugh. Well, I guess we tried. What can you tell us about the various devices used in the to decorate the gallery exhibits? There seems to be some pretty specialist items in use. Light emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell. Hey, all but those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them the Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I bought her 4 lovely new salt lamps, and I gave her 4 pieces of aluminum cloth I used for the contest. Wow, that's super generous of you. Hee. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course. That better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought that was. Yes, back when you were there, sweetie. Innocent baby boy. What happened to you, eh? Dear sweet innocent baby boy? Mr. Fender? Can't quite picture that, I have to say. So these decorations. They're all the same as the one you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yep. Salt lamps, glowing fabrics, lightning doodads, the whole bit. There are 4 aluminum cloths in use in the autumn wind. I'm sure I saw another one somewhere. I'm not lying. Oh, it's in my bag somewhere. I'm sure of it. What is she looking for? That's not it? And that's not it. That cloth looks familiar. Maybe I should chalk her memory with something so Miss Scone could tell us more. Miss Scone, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make poison gas How might someone learn to make the poison gas that was used in the attack? Any ideas? Well, I'm pharmacist whose emerald handle infesticide Ultra would know for a start. After all, it says right there on the label, do not mix with products containing Eucribium, ever. What about a layperson? It's unlikely they know, wouldn't you say? I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they had a nose for doing the Ultimate Cookbook anyway. Rise from contest 18 years ago. The recipe for making Infesticide Ultra, along with that not mixing with Eucribium, it's in there, you know. So you're familiar with the contents of the book? Oh yes, dearie. I know the inside out. Because I work for the Tangara group, you see. We're the company behind Cool Killer X. I'm sure you heard of it. Cool Killer X. Fight back sniffles and sneezes with ease, apparently. And Sami people was found guilty. The company took custody of the book. But they only grant the most trusted person access to it, of course. Which means Miss Scone is one of those elites, I suppose. You had a piece of fiber like this in your bag, didn't you, Did you not, Miss Scone? I'll bet a somewhat grimier one. Grimy? I'm rude. You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Shall I call the dish towel then? Perhaps you use it to wipe up some sort of spillage? A spillage? She says. The cheek! That's a piece of highly specialized luminol cloth. Oh, I probably shouldn't have told you that. I think I'd like to know a little more about this highly specialized luminol cloth, if you don't mind. Why didn't you want me to know you had a piece of luminol cloth in your bag? Oh, well, I suppose there's no hiding eye, is there? If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the autumn wing. The Larry's sketch of Miss Scone is of when she was trying to retrieve the cloth. I thought it was one of the ones I gave Miss Judy. One of the four you've given to the gallery, correct? Exactly. But all four have been used in the autumn wing, weren't they? So I realized it must have been the one that went missing all those years ago. I already had my infested ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my cloths turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was going to look guilty of sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag and hoped for the best. I see. Oh, it does feel good to get it off my chest though. Dress is no good for the complexion. So the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago. The one that the victim was wrapped in. Just happened to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body? You got a picture of Silly Umi. That's right, you seem to have caught the artist's eye. You mean lovely Lord Lumpkin? I'll have a word with him and say thanks. Well, I'll be glad to introduce you. And there's that evil smirk. Oh, and that badge of yours. It's not the same as Greggy Peglegs? That's right. My father was the defense attorney. I took a different path. Oh, I see. It's like that, is it? Well, I suppose it's to be expected at your age, Theory. But once you've grown up a bit, I'm sure you'll start to appreciate your old man a little more. Everyone goes through a little rebellious phase. Lord knows I had mine. But my career path is not the result of some adolescent phase, Miss Scone. Do you have any more logic? No. Oh! Tell me, Fender, what kind of person is found? Huh? Hey, man. Don't tell me you got a thing for a Meister. I do not. Chill. I'm just yanking your chin. Anyway. What can I tell you about Judes? Well, she's a real brave trigger now, for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18-year-old years? Like she asked for Samson. Even after his assistant family kicked her out of his place. What? They threw her out? Yep. She just wasn't technically part of the family. So there was something she could do. Yet nothing, nobody. And no job after Samson took the fall. But she had no choice but to take what he told her and make her own way in showbiz. She retired from all that night. Yes. Why did she retire? He finally made enough to buy the old place back. He even got the old cookbook back from the Tangoro group after they basically stole it. Yes, this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. And so she wanted it back, all of it. And there seems very sympathetic to Miss Bound's plight. But from a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything from Mrs. Gregorius for herself. Alright. The Ultimate Cookbook contains instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Miss Judy Bound. No way! You mean... I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally. We can prove that she's been lying to us. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the test on the teapot. We can get going. Ah, now we're on testimonies. April 2nd, 2:33 p.m. Zodiac Call Thunder Room. The head shots are coming, just coming, sir. Traces of recursion were found in the teapot. They were? Just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Curse you! You better not think this means you beat me. You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth. What? But first is best! Everyone knows it's better to be a winner than a loser. That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway. Ah! Enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Please refrain from taunting the boy. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention. The Gabrielle! Oh, alright. Why don't I take care of things here for now? In the meantime, you can perform the more important task of going and checking on the victim. Oh, yeah, good idea. I'll be right back. Excellent. We shall see you shortly then. The Winner's annoying, but totally harmless. Just Gabrielle, on the other hand. 9. Miss Bound, perhaps you can explain why traces of aquarium were found in your teapot. I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it's one of the ingredients in the dishwasher soap I use. Washing soap I use. You are telling the court that you should not intentionally put aquarium in the teapot? Yes, exactly. Why would I? Today, I had no idea that it could even be used to make poison gas.
Objection!
You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I have thought you would be a more convincing liar. What do you mean? You had access to the Ultimate Cookbook, correct? A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning, it's perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? The book does contain information on how to make the poison gas, yes. But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid in one of the display cases, thereby melting the aquarium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that, and the fact that he triggered it himself, wouldn't it point to being a suicide attempt? She's not willing to admit anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten a hold of Infesticide Ultra? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it? No, I did bump in the Moon Genie a week or so ago. But that very evening, I noticed my Infestine Ultra had gone missing. Judy, surely you didn't. Delicia, you carry your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? There would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you. That's true. And I don't have any hard evidence that it was definitely was Miss Brown who stole it. Gee, so there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you just come clean then? And he's like, We all knew you never hurt somebody for no reason, so... Not you too. I think I got these well, Fender? Mr. Fender? Can you blame me? We've got one wing disguise as another, a gas trap in one on this of the display case. And you're the perpetrator, the proprietor of the establishment. It's looking a lot like you did, kiddo. You got it all wrong. You got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras, nor any security personnel. If some intended person or wanted to get in undetected, I don't think they have much of a problem. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. You really need to be more careful. A great thief could have a field day in here. I don't think she's joking. And actually, it seems that Mr. Gosu did in fact enter the gallery before it opened. Sheesh. Yuji's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Here's time to rock a little technique Gregory told me back in the day. And what technique might that be? So, hear me out. Everything's connected to what happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe I'll approach this from a different angle and look to the past for clues instead. Turnabout of thinking. So my father used this method as well? Alright, let's run this for the old Thinkatron. I was she's involved in what happened back then. But... I'm sure that's a bot. I got it. And according to Miss Pound, it was because of her that Mr. Ross's flavored ice sculpture melted. Yet his sculptures are here on display at this very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, vendor. I think I know what I ask Miss Pound now. Don't thank me. Thank your pops. Alright, take it away, Mazzy. I'll grab the popcorn. Spound? You said that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creation down 18 years ago, correct? I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish, and that was a terrible accident. And yet, what you did allowed you to open... What you did allow you to open this exhibit, no? What do you mean? Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? You're going to ask us questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Brown might be best? Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about the Zodiac Hall. And about why Miss Brown decided to dedicate this space to Mr. Frost's work. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Brown, would you mind? Not at all. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I'm innocent. Then please, if you could give us some background on Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. Zodiac Hall. It took it. No, do I say what? Shit! I still had the original because we were great. It took 18 years, but at long last, I was finally able to buy Samson's house back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul Halligan pieces as I could from around the world. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Thank you for your testimony, Spine. How wonderful it is that you were able to fulfill your dream. Well, Miss Edgeworth, everything seems entirely above board to me. Judge Graviel, that was simply the witness preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be filed without due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. Also, the music has changed. Didn't see that.
Hold it!
Alright. 18 years. You must have gone through a lot to buy it back, Miss Bound. This home, this place, such memories abound. I couldn't stand to lose what I had found. Samson, I did what I had to do. To see that home was waiting here for you. How did she make it look so easy? I'll say, but I wouldn't expect any less from a trained triple threat performer. Will you continue your testimony, Miss Bound? Mine's the singing, if you please.
Hold it!
Nice, the gallery by yourself, Miss Bound? Yes, well, we only opened today, so I haven't done much actual managing yet, but I have to keep the matching going. I can't have it falling down to my ears, around my ears. Samson could come home any day after all. He's really got the house back for him. I'm so sorry, Judy. I wish I could have done more. Oh, you've done plenty, Mr. Fender. If anyone should have done more, it's me. If only... Sorry. Even if it's the only thing I can do right now is to keep this place safe from Samson.
Hold it!
Oh, hello. Okay. Oh, hello. That was Mr. Floss's pseudonym, correct? Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. You see, I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection, more specifically. How were you able to acquire the tortoise and Gemini sculptures? It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them. Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on the photos of the sculptures he made. Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that? Because if I'm honest, it's always been oh. That's not the testimony. Tell me more about this dream of yours, Miss Bound. Well, what I really wanted was to open a gallery with Samson, of course. A gallery of dance, a gallery of song, a gallery of only and counting all day long. That was the idea anyway. Here I thought art was supposed to be appreciated in silence, not accompanied by musical numbers. Alas, Miss Tangoria's transgression against the edict of the goddess of justice, and as such, that part of her dream may go permanently unfulfilled. No, Samson he's innocent. That awful prosecutor refused to listen, but it's true. He never hurt anybody. Mr. Dracora gave the false conviction in order to protect Miss Bound. Two of them really did did what they could to protect one another, didn't they? I was able to create replicas of the Winter Wing based on the photos of the sculptures he made.
Hold it!
These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago? Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So those statues in the Winter Wing were just copies? I didn't even get to see them before they melted. No, the sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Means that Miss Bound is lying. I know. It's such an awful shame. And after we went to the trouble to recreate them too. The sculptures in the Winter Wing weren't replicas. They're the very ones from 18 years ago. I need to show her I'm aware of that, or I'll never get to the truth. I've got a few. Let's try the analysis result.
Objection!
Oh, it was that? Okay. I had two minds, so I wanted to think about it. I'm afraid you've run out of road, Miss Bound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display were replicas. They were the first statues Mr. Frost crafted 18 years ago. Oh, I can probably help explain how they work today if you like, dear. It's the sugar, you see. You might think sugar is sugar. Here is sugar. But the composition is actually very unique. You could probably recreate the statue, but the sweet secret of the chemicals makeup. No chance. Thank you, Miss Cone. I don't recall asking for her help, but still. Put it simply, the statue didn't disappear back then because they melted. They disappeared because you speared them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years. What? She kept the pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere for all that time? It's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough icebox.
Overruled.
Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense? So you already learned that much? Should I take that to mean you're admitting to having hidden flavored ice sculptures in question? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. So you won't? Because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The plates were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing? How indeed. I don't know exactly how you did it. I'm afraid I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I am indeed. I won't stop until I get to the truth. I see. Then I better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago. What I did that day. The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge for Samson. Before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later, around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. Those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you take issue with any of that. That's for us to decide, Miss Bound. Are you saying that there's a contradiction in her story, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did, in fact, steal those statues. The question is, when would she have had the opportunity to do so? I can pinpoint that. I might be able to prove what exactly she got up to. We're on part 2!
Hold it!
What were you doing while you were waiting? I was in my room practicing some dance routines. I was on a TV show called Big and Bop and Samson, you see. Big and Bop? What kind of show was it? It was a children's show. The two of them would sing and dance as they made a variety of sweets. Wow, that sounds awesome! Hold the phone, Miles. You used to watch it? My father introduced me to it. I may have watched an episode or two. Miss Bound passes hot before the judging began by practicing her dance routines. Huh. That can't have been the moment she did. I rather listen carefully to what she said.
Hold it!
Were you the only one who was able to move around freely during the judging? Well, I wouldn't say freely exactly, but I was able to move around more easily than the contestants, yes. Even so, I could hardly have spirited the sculptures away while Sansa was standing right there, could I? I ran straight off to change the film as soon as he asked me. I wouldn't have had the time. I changed to film the camera as requested by Mr. Tangora. Let's listen there.
Hold it!
You entered the room containing Mr. Tangora's work before bringing the camera back to him, correct? Yes, I heard the sound of something collapsing. Thompson, are you in there? Ah! The sound of the chocolate chip falling over after a sudden someone took a bite out of one of the supports. Mr. Tangora was still in Mr. Gus's room when you found the body? Yes, I'm fairly sure that was the case. He was judging each room in order, and he liked to take his time. So, the point at which he discovered Mr. Frost's spot.
Hold it!
Just as you did today? Yes, I went around for everybody working on the investigation of the cup of tea. President Company included it, I remember well. You were here, up there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. That little car of yours. Interesting. Did anything strike you as strange around that time? Oh yeah! Reggie was singing the praises of GDC on. I think he mentioned the saucer was cold. The saucer was cold? Let's listen to the rest.
Hold it!
When exactly did you see Mr. Gusto enter in the victim's room? It was while your father and the others were investigating the room when the body was found. Where the body was found. Gusto said he went in there to get back a photo of him and Frost and their kids. Because he didn't want anybody to suspect they'd be working together, right? Pretty sloppy if him to get spotted, though. That'd be not great thief material. I think Mr. Gusto could live with that, to be honest. For the moment, Mr. Gusto snuck into Mr. Frost's room. The moment she did it, that isn't clearly what she said. I need to figure out when Miss Bound would have been able to steal a sculpture. What was her best window of opportunity? You'd think a great thief like me would have an inkling, but I'm drawing a blank here. I'm putting some. If you're going to get to the bottom of this, you need to grill her harder. So get to it. We're right behind you, big man. All right. I can do the.
Hold it!
Okay. Right. Miss Bound, I believe this is when you stole the sculptures. I hate to contradict you, but the Fender room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculpture out of Mr. Foster's room, right under everyone's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Bound stole those ice sculptures, and she did it by hiding them here.
Take that!
My father and Fender had no idea that one of the sculptures were mere inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case. Ah!
Overruled!
Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How could a case of that size fit on a surfing cart? It would have been spotted immediately.
Objection!
Who said anything about a surfing cart? Well, I'm not sure I'm following, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she use instead? Suggest that Miss Bound used this to transport the sculptures.
Take that!
And this is the cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures out of Mr. Foster's room 18 years ago. And it would appear that the very same cart is still here with us in this fountain room. Wait, we originally brought it for use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Foster's sculpture just onto this cart and carried it off? I am. As you can imagine, all women need to do is lay a tablecloth on its side, add a tablecloth. So just lay a case on the side, add a tablecloth. And it looks exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Can it be? Holy moly! Of course! That's why those saucers were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big block of ice! Dudes, how could you? Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole... There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago until... Nah. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it. You admit that you stole them from Mr. Foster's room. Yes, I do. I took those sculptures and their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. And Mr. Edgeworth correctly to do. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly does, I dressed up the lift carts as a surfing cart to do it, and slipped in and out of Mr. Foster's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I removed not only the sculptures, with the flavored ice Zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks. I feel like I've seen them for myself before. There's a huge block of ice display here. Must be incredibly heavy. Well, maybe not, although being hollow on the inside. The Wither Ring really is this exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago. And even though my father never saw them, because they already melted, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well. When I finished moving the 2 ice sculptures on the 2 Zodiac blocks I took 2 fresh empty cases of Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original 2 had been. Only the sculptures have been kept in glass cases. You see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they have been displayed as is. As stated in the contents rules, we were responsible for preparing all display materials, including cases. It would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spaces she swapped those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored iceworks in progress. We could have melted them down somehow. The resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that's as how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be the Wither Ring today. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession. Indeed. I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it. That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? What? How'd you figure that? Oh my! I would have thought you might know at least this much, given we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statutes of limitations outlined in this book. Statutes of what? Statutes of limitations. Simply put, okay? Prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's read the rest of it. Theft, 7 years from the date of the crime. Separate timeframes apply with regards to claims for damages, etc. Murder, 15 years from the date of the crime. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. The statute is suspended from any time of any for the time of any accomplice in the indictments to the end of their trial. Let's take a close look, shall we? Whoops, I should have. So it's different for every crime? Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years? Ah! Yes, Miss Bound stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago. So it's too late to have her arrested for that crime. I don't believe it! Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself had just pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for her crimes. Rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. For you see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be of considerably more interest. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed. But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it? By hiding it in a very unusual way. Oh, now this is interesting. Where the body was. Okay, so we are proceeding through this like it's. Ooh. We got time to keep going. Are you telling me that you know where the body has been all this time for all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice stuff that you moved from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well, if you are confident in this claim, let us put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? Where's that picture? Oh, here it was.
Take that!
The winner. Damn, I was on fire for a while.
Take that!
Free. Sorry. You'll have to demonstrate to me how that works, Mr. Come, show me exactly how a body could have been hidden there. She's right. That wouldn't work at all. If not to contribute to the investigation, perhaps you could be their side first. You can Judge Raphael, but you'll just. But if you just give me one more chance. If I must, do not try my patience any further.
Take that!
So I was on the right idea, just wrong evidence. I had slight ideas of like the statues and everything, just didn't find the right evidence.
Take that!
A photograph of Mr. Frost's work? And at the victim's spot, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body? The body is hiding right here.
Take that!
A Gemini sculpture? Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance, but is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. What? Surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in the photograph that's to support such a wild claim.
Objection!
That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight. What piece of evidence might that be? The court demands that you present what was used to conceal the body.
Take that!
One of the cloths from the autumn wing, found in the autumn wing. Yes, when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so physically convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone? Well, yes, but you can make it look like just about anything, really, even blazing fire. The right shade of blue would make it look like ice. Yes, exactly. Look at in fact.
Overruled.
Is it not the case that certain special devices needed to generate these colors, though?
Objection!
If you would care to take another look at the photograph in the wing, Your Honor. You will notice there is a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case. I actually missed that. I legit missed that. That's one of the very light emitting devices in question. Mr. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed his presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case. Which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light emanating device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was, in fact, a statue carved in ice. No! This can't be! Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the Winter Wing, yes, we were standing right in front of the body. But the body and the cloth were both discovered from the fountain. Why were they found there if the body was supposed to be in the Winter Wing disguised as a sculpture?
Objection!
Because there would have been no as to how the body had been hidden if he found it as it was. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the Winter Wing in order to throw us off the scent.
Overruled.
Ridiculous. But I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain. No, but she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart. The same cart that had proved so useful in executing her original theft. Ah! I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it down the stream to the fountain. Person's body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way. This is why only the cloth appeared first. The cloth Miss Skunk discovered. And then the body followed afterwards once it had thawed enough. Hold it? It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusation with proof, don't you think? What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her when she was removing the body? As a matter of fact, I do. Still where the body was hidden. Yep. And the contradiction in the piece of evidence I was provided will shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegations? Allegation? Of course, I have a very compelling proof right here. Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have to prove Miss Bound acted as you claim?
Take that!
More drawings. And is that me? Yes, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here. Miss Bound's surfing cart? What of it? What about it? You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when the picture was being drawn. What? Hold it. If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolate to everyone. Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he assured me that that couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. Cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath. But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it wouldn't be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body.
Objection!
None of the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac cases in the Winter Wing. There's one of those on the lift cart, and easily passed muster as a regular serving cart. Wouldn't you agree? God, suggest this! Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago. I didn't expect you to deduce all of that from a single simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't lie solely in Mr. Butts' artwork. Playing it safe, playing it safe, playing it safe. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a lit cart once more. Which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolate. My chocolate? The ones I was handing it. As we saw in your sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. The chocolate you gave us came from your pocket. Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty though. Why did you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolate in your pocket, Miss Bound? It's because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on. That's why. One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolate and the lift cart. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed, stashing chocolate in her pocket was the only solution she could think of. I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me? Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would clarity enlighten us? Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body? Oh yeah, I've seen the work. Miss Bound has the tablecloth on her person. And in plain view, in fact. In plain view? No, surely you don't... Sorry, in plain view, surely you don't mean... Miss Bound? It's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac block wasn't kept in glass cases, the cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. Is that cloth? All we need to do to confirm my theory is to test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. Game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole the Lincius and St. Ultra and moved Mr. Frost's body. It was me. It was all me. Valencia, I'm so sorry. Last week, I went into your body and I took it. Alright. And then, I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do it himself. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Really? Yeah. Oh gosh. Judes. Why? Aren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fine together, Free Samson? We were. I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I finally proved that Samson is innocent. I always planned to get myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say deny, but... why do it this way, though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures, and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in the Confederate contest. They became the final work of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't let him just melt away, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures? She didn't know about the body when she stole the sculpture. Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody, ever. Never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. After all he'd done for me, he was my family, the only family I ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and I... Dudes. After his confession, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the code stores to check up on the sculptures. And that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today. Because it was the only way I could think of to make things right. Seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she'd done really has all been for Mr. Tangora's sake. Hey! What are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I could think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. Yeah, I wonder who she had in mind. She was trying to prove that Mr. Tangora is innocent. Miss Bound's ultimate goal must be to... Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangora cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework. So they would have freaked out thinking the body was able to be discovered and come running, right? Yeah, sorry, exactly. Miss Bound ran the risk of that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting final evidence at risk? Oh, I see what you're getting on. You're saying that's why the autumn was all winter winny. I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the piece of case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident. No. But that would mean the real killer was...
Overruled.
Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you're clearly about to make? Miss Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer. Meaning that whoever found himself and is caught in that trap is likely to be the guilty party. But like the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse someone on any evidence is not to be done lightly, so... Did I really go ahead and make my accusation? And name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? A real goal. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. To do that, I need to seize the moment. Yes, Judge Rebel, I am prepared to stand behind my accusation. I know exactly who was to blame for the IS-7 incident.
Take that!
Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident? Gusty? Mr. Gusto? Miss Bound, as we have established, You knew that the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit, and you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far? You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth, just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right. But perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words. Of course! I have nothing to hide anymore, so I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the other wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I ran around and unlocked the doors to various rooms, and found that the other wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me. And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap. When I heard that Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan. Dudes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? You could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this. Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so very kind to me all these years. And I'm the one who created this mess. So it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place. Judy. 18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set up a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of as many witnesses as possible. I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I'll let you all down. Fender, this can't be easy for him. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. Please, if I may ask one thing of you, it's that you simply must clear Samson's name. The way the truth of these past 18 years have come to light was unexpected to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down the path towards an even more shocking end. I've still got a little time. Let's push a little further. The committee's view. April 2nd, 3:11 p.m. So they call Fountain Room. Miss Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now? Yes. No. Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Without your attention, you broke the law. Yes, I understand. Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangora's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case.
Overruled.
There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official SI7 incident record. And right now, There was nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bone at her word either. Our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bone herself.
Objection!
Official records cannot always be trusted, Just Graviel. Especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Overruled.
Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor? That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked. Seeing as Mr. Foster's body was only found just now, there really is something to Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth. How so exactly? By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how. Perhaps it is time you understand how the committee sees this case. Whoa. The committee's view. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangora convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bone. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempting to free him from Mr. Frost's murder. And this is how the committee sees things, is it? It is. As always, I act solely in service of law and order. It sounds to me like all she is doing is acting in service of the committee, is covering up the truth. The committee is covering the truth. If I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Katagora or Miss Bone. You just spiel.
Hold it!
If you accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified the records, then why would you reinvestigate the case? Because the cause of justice is never wrong. Her verdict remains true, despite
Objection!
Mr. Von Karma's manipulation. Despite blatant evidence tampering. You sure your precious cause is into that? Almost makes you think the committee might have other reasons for not wanting to look into it. Not wanting this looked into again. Alright, further investigation is simply unnecessary since the cause of justice has already spoken. Is that right?
Hold it!
I believe it was a confession that sealed Mr. Tangora's fate in the end. I can't. Sorry. Mr. Criminal, Mr. Von Should have cast. Oh yeah, fine verdict.
Overruled!
Since the girl confesses to the initial investigation officer, one detective, Ian Simon. I am Simon. Sorry. Right, culture. Confession to girl by Mr. Von which we surely cast doubt on the final verdict. The official records state that it was his interrogations that led to the conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is the cause of justice has already spoken. Unbelievable! She won't budge it. She just won't budge at all. All these committee guys really that big of a deal? In many ways, they are prosecutor's worst nightmare. So kind of like how the police are to a great thief, huh? Funny how you don't seem to have a problem working with the police when it suits you, though.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tangora and Miss Bao and killed Mr. Frost together? Why not? You can even imagine they split their roles as thus. Mr. Nygard could have been the one to commit the act itself, while Miss Spoon was to remove the body. What? The thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost? You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising that you might be
Objection!
considered as suspect as a result of... Miss Bound has freely confessed to all of her crimes. Now was not the time to speculate about what else she might have done in the past. Very well, then let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present.
Hold it!
Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder? No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he'd be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked.
Objection!
Do you really have any evidence to support that line of reasoning? Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there is little we can do now. On the contrary, there is plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Allow me to spell it out for you. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the ISM and the poison gas tank.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need? In the matter of the IS-7 incident, we have a body, a murder weapon, and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas tank, we have the source of the 2 chemicals and Miss Bound's confession. And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth, we also have evidence. To see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee is an informal hearing. What? Whoa! That doesn't sound good. Don't worry, Mazarino. If nothing else, you're always more than welcome at Edgeworth & Co. Your Honor, I greatly appreciate if we could stay focused on the matter at hand. Of course. Nah, where was I?
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all? All of the evidence has been examined at length, and there is nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. The court finds the defendant mischieved by...
Objection!
Your Honor, I'm certain that there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop at 9. Decide what you think requires further deliberation now, assuming there really is anything left, that is. Isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to. And it's up to me to point it out to Judge Raphael. Alright.
Objection!
Nope. Would you care to reflect testimony, Judge Raphael? No, why? Do you believe there's something wrong with it? Well, no, nothing's his old place. And perhaps you could refrain from insinuating otherwise. Well, that blew up my face. Mother!
Objection!
Oh.
Objection!
Oh. Okay.
Objection!
Oh. Time to come.
Objection!
Alright.
Objection!
Nope. He plan to put. Where's her font? Commit. Oh. Yes, this see.
Objection!
Ah! Alright, let's get the point back in ammo. So I was
Objection!
oh. I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this? What is it? There are test results. Carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the winter wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim you have all the evidence. There was blood in the Gemini case? Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winter about it myself, of course.
Overruled.
You kept this to yourself until now? Despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever? Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you have done here today. As ever, my attention is in the truth. The mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. You must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, you must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Guess who's back, loser? And I'm with good news too. It was a close call for me there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive. Gusto. He made it? You're the one who found me? Once again. Yep, long time no see, Gusto. Or the attorney's assistant. You've grown. And you have an assistant of your own now. Assistant? No, he hasn't gotten the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. That moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you had lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. What are you talking about? We figured out quite a bit while you were cold, including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Ernie Frost. What? Is that true? Miss Bounds set up a very clever trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging pieces with the poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent. Oh, it's not that. Guess here's a family old meditation, you know? And all that jazz. Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent. Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, okay? Hey, Gusto, pal. How about just nap out of it and tell us what went down back then? I was caught in the girl's trap. So I must be the killer? Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here. Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto. And there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Finner are merely speculating. Rest assured they have no authority here. And that you may pay them no heed. At least somebody here seems to be on my side. Judge Faraday Cowell. It's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth? Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
Objection!
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Graviel? You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you to hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record? I believe the only inevitable judgment of the cause is justice. Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in the court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you. We shall see about that. Do you advise, Judge Graviel? It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically, by opening the pestis case lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us? Understood. I came to see Frost's sculptures, simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived half an hour early. Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk around that time? I left the main. I had left the main entrance unguarded, unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight. All except for the autumn wing, that is. Let's see. He did all that just to steal the culprit into the autumn wing. Which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went. Sneaking into a building is pretty suspicious, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom. I will print no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. Courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto? If you could please continue by explaining why you opened the pizza's case. I want to see Frost's work up close. I went up to the chimney. Sorry, I guess it was supposed to be the pizza statue. And I saw that the lid was frozen on tight. I grabbed a blue torch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got it open, the gas came pouring out. Fascinating. He is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of. Yeah, everything seems like a lie kind. I am not too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Come on! There must be something! Alan's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up a gas shop. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection!
She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, oh pal. You believe that confessed criminal? Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me, but I have no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise. I mean, really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. No matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past. Yeah, but... And what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do. You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. Motive for murder. Gusto killed Frost. He must have a reason. Had a reason, sorry. He claimed not to have a motive. But that can't really be true, can it? He did. He has one. How many people commit murder just for fun? In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma, but a powerful move too, remember? How can you possibly say that with any certainty? Your relationship had broken down for some reason. That very well could have been... That could very well have been the behind this murder. Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can't deny. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for just might... Sorry. Yes, I think you might be right. We need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident. Especially the question that never got answered. And the figure works? Were you the one wearing the gloves? Mrs. Scone denied that the figure marks on the frame were hers. What if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look at the Ultra Cookbook for himself. Oh, I'm going to have to apply some logic, aren't I? So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think that there should be more shot than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way. And Father knows these things for a reason. We need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, the only way to the truth. Let's start with this. Yeah. Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create work for the contest together, did you not? Hmm? So you know my little secret? Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the design, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct? What can I say? I still have a long way to travel on the road to becoming a Master Confederate. You only collaborated up for the semi-final. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangora.
Objection!
Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final? What grounds do you have to say that? Your own statement. Made to Mr. Von Conrad 18 years ago. Told us that you have been working together right up until the day before the final. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice would have needed at least a day to freeze. And whose flavor would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Mr. Gusto told me. That he held Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost recuperate and help Mr. Gusto in return?
Objection!
Can hardly expect to read the minds of the dead. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return? I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis of your motive for murder. That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly. You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay. Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? Think I just strolled into Tangora's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed him on my time. Tangora was and I'm working on a chocolate piece. Could I? Alright. Let's keep it. See, he couldn't have been me. You see, he couldn't have been me. I wouldn't be so sure. Must be a window of time and Mr. Tangora wasn't in his room. Proof that I can prove Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. Let's try this. No. These two should have worked together. That's right. Because that was the time of the murder. Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. What if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangora's camera to photograph the book? It'd be the perfect crime! So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops. Sneaky snapshot R20, huh? That could work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. What about during the afternoon tea? Didn't Delincia say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? And after the contest began, nobody saw hide or hair of Frost as he had secluded himself in his room. The only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangora, possessing as he did the only key. Miss Scone? Or Mr. Tangora's work the only one you sampled? No, dear. I couldn't help myself. When I finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Clipping's room for a little taste too. Mr. Frost had kept himself inside his room after the contest had started. He was gone by the time Mr. Scone snuck in to sample his work. Meaning that there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of the of afternoon tea. You can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window in which Mr. Gusto could have been killed. Mr. Gusto could have been killed? Could have killed him. Sorry, could have killed him. Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth? Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. I'm going to be back in a second. Be back in a second, then we're going to maybe try to finish things up. I am back. We're good to go. Alright. Ah. Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last. You mean to say you have uncovered new evidence? Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Guts to open up to us about it instead. Oh! It's a mind game time again? It is. Miss Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you! What is it? You chose to make your entry on... Sorry, you chose to make your entry for the final on your own. I told you I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
Objection!
If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. Tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? "18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in a confetti contest. Why did they work together? And why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow." Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things are going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. On my hand, it is now time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. Mind chess. Commence! Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost? We were acquaintances before we were contestants. was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together. Your decision to pair up with a sculpture had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills? You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creation possible, that's all. Also, son and I were in the same grade at school. So we got along perfectly well too. Oh? So you were just two friends who happened to try for the title World's Greatest Competitor? I'm still recovering. So you've got nothing to say. Let me get back to the medical room. Wait! I mean... Oh, okay, that one I need to be active. My opponent's reactions and pick up... What's the corner? Pretending to be asleep when the going gets tough will work on me, I'm afraid. Boss was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning the title, a title for competitor. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say? Fine, it was me. I wanted that title. Boss was in it, and only for the prize, the ultimate cookbook. See, since your objectives so neatly, tailed so quickly, you decided to work together. Then something happened. Breakdown in your relationship, perhaps? So I want to know why. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Was it too hard? And I'll be on my way back to the medical room. No, wait! I think you better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience. Augusto is trying to desperately make his escape. He's not going anywhere yet. Now, as long as he's still keeping things from me, let's figure out what he was really after next. There's no time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. You had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? Well, I'm not sure the title of World's Greatest Competitor even counts for that much. Now you're in the way of the competitor? My only goal, was to win that title. I don't care for anything else. I have no idea how much it would mean to me. Look, my sense of the sign may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now. Oh? You've improved? Better have. You didn't do all that training in Champagne for nothing. I looked up to Thagora, you know? Spent hours poring over the science of his work. I even used to watch his show with my son. Sounds to me like Mr. Tagora's work was especially influential in your early studies. As with his wrist boot, you might have even become the best someday. Maybe. The book was a real treasure. No doubt about that. I can find out who wanted it. So you claim that your only goal was to win the title. But you also seem to have an interest in the contest prize, the Ultimate Cookbook. It's a collection of recipes by the world's greatest competitor. I can't say I have absolutely no interest in it. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that? Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes from men, not the sort. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I don't let him slip from my grasp now. I need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creation? What else? Looked like that could improve my craft tenfold. You could have made a lot of money if you sold it. I didn't know how much about it was actually worth there. But it was worth more money, I'll tell you that. Come on, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim. They told me a lot about it at the start of the contest. You know what kind of recipes it actually contains, don't you? And that they weren't recipes dessert recipes at all. So you did your homework. Fine, if you know what's really in there. The Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook, to give it its proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody has ever heard of. You didn't know about the cookbook's actual containing recipes for medicine. This could be an important clue. Do you know how valuable the cookbook really was? What kind of question is that? And it was a collection of Tangora's recipes. There wasn't a competitor in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it. And the diplomatic clue. Your design may have improved thanks to your training in Shangfa. You clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. Or I admit that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature. Yes. You're a confederate, Mr. Gusto. You had no personal interest in revolutionizing new medicines. Suggests that your interest must have been personal. I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick. Was? Tell me more. That's none of your business. I told you what you need to know. He looks rattled. I'd let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. Almost got that on this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Tell me a little more about your son. He was my pride and joy. I'm my biggest fan. Did you enter the contest in order to help him? You clearly don't have children of your own. I thought I would have done the same. Would have done anything to help him. Anything. We come to see he had the contest venue too. Right up for the semi-final. Really? You didn't get in the way of your work? You were trying to beat Samson Tangora. Surely you didn't have the time to look after a child. Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations. I'm still recovering. Oh, that was the wrong choice. You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest? Wasn't that kind of illness? Nothing like friend anyway. This feels like it could be an important clue. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffers from? You're a real cool customer. Sorry, you're a real cool customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? You've already assured me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. Why are you so reluctant to share any further detail? It may not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering. See, that must have been very hard on both of you. Of course it was. That's why I did everything I could to find a cure. You were desperate. You couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts. Oh, yeah, no, this is... As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains the recipe for a very particular medication. One that Mr. Tangora used to cure himself of his own taste disorder. So you added two, you say? To So your son has a taste disorder then, am I correct? How did I let that slip? You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case? Yeah, of course it was. What are you saying? I'm saying that I'm not so sure that no, that. I'm saying that I'm not so sure that that's true based on everything you've told me. I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. I'll try another tact. So you need the cookbook to cure your son. Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication he needed anywhere. Back then, the book was our only hope. Which is why I wouldn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to get my own to my work. And what about Mr. Tangora's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to steal a glance at it. What made you think I had the energy or time to care about the other? Or what the others admit? Wrong decision. I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangora's work. It's more, if you were not determined to win the ultimate cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up on a chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries. I had plenty of chance for at the contest to see and sample my robot's work, you know. Each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerds or something. You must have also tasted any flavor. Oh, we haven't. Now we have everything. Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You know, after all, you just told me you experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? You seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder. Competitor without a sense of taste? Not exactly ideal. You sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking the cure for, Mr. Gusto? I have enough of your speculations. I'm managing just fine in that contest. Yes. Get my own energies, no problems. Oh. Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did all that on your own now. You did it all on your own. You would have us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the Confederate's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. All you could cure your own taste disorder. You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. She said my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I kept it hidden for so long, 18 years, and nobody knew. Sadly, you can't lie to others. You can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Ross entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook. The medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's order, and the money he would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate. Fine chess. Checkmate. I admit it. You're good. I never told any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed Agushia. I'm pretty sure I got the pronunciation wrong there. What's Agushia? It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. A Confederate's worst nightmare. Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tagora had as well? No, the big one, how would you call it? Dislocated teeth disorder. This basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all. He suffered too. That happened easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market. That's why you had Mr. Tangoria's cookbook. You admit now that that was the real reason you entered the contest? It was only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put the mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it back then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win. Oh? So you went into the finals thinking you stood a good chance of winning? Of course. What was it that Finn said about what Mr. Tangora's thought of Mr. Gusto's creations? Gusto's creations were perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semifinals. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts. You were told your entry for the finals was far from prize-winning tasting you described. From the prize-winning tasting you described. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day? Fine. You want me to talk? I'll talk. You're not gonna like what I have to say. My entry for the finals. I will probably have to take a break. Stop at some point. We'll probably stop at this. So Ross and I were working together right up for the semifinals. I handled the flavor, he did the deciding. I wanted to face Tangora in the finals on my own. No help, just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the finals, that's on me. What can I say? I lack training. So it's happy now? Right, I'll stop for now. Why did I work together? Okay. So yeah. Oh, Confrontation Carmelo Gusto. Part 1. No, it's not for now. I'll wrap things up here. So I hope it's good this week. We're definitely going to be back this next Monday. Should be normal schedule and stuff again. Proper. But I'm going to wrap things up here. So I hope it's good this week. I'll see you next time. Bye.